Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You are here with us live on Co-working Live with Red Worldwide, and I'm Dr. Patience Jackson Rose, and we are here, and it's time for us to really talk about living our legacy. We are learning more about how we invent our products, how we bring them to market, and this is really the inventor's journey, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so I don't want us to get too far ahead of ourselves, but let's just say that there's probably an inventor in all of us, but then there's some of us who really want to think about taking our inventions to market. And so for those of us, we really need to understand the path, or I should say the two paths, and what it is that we can do to make the journey worth it every step of the way, and how we can ensure that we are spending our time and our money in the right places when we are learning about getting that idea to reality. I don't know if you know this, but the numbers are kind of brutal. I'm learning that, only about 75% of the people who actually get a patent get their product all the way to market. And so with that, we want to look at, well, what do we do when we want us to be in that other 25% aisle? And so we're going to talk about that today and talk about, some tools that you can use. We'll talk about some procedures that you can put in place and other things that you should be looking at if you really do have an invention or product or service that is going to lead to some creation of a product that will, something that the market really needs and something that you want to push out there. And so we're going to stop and watch our video first, and then we'll come back and we'll really deep dive into this. How do we get our ideas to reality? What is it that we do? Okay, I think maybe we might have a little bit of technical difficulty. Javon, can you assist? We're trying to get the video to play. Okay, well, maybe not. Let me see if there's anything I can do on my side. Um, okay, let's see what we've got going here.
Today we will be tackling the inventor's journey, from idea to reality. In this episode, we take a thrilling ride through the world of invention and innovation. Whether you're an aspiring inventor with a fresh idea or an entrepreneur looking to turn your concepts into a profitable reality, this episode has got you covered. We break down the crucial steps of transforming your ideas into tangible products while navigating the legal landscape, prototyping, and exploring options to license or launch. Today, we will talk about two important steps for an inventor: the patent search and the product search. The goal here is to determine if your invention is truly unique, or if someone else has already patented or created something similar. In a nutshell, the patent search involves searching the USPTO database or other resources to see if there are any existing patents that could overlap with your idea. While product search enables you to verify if existing products on the market fulfill the same need as your invention, this will help you understand the competition and whether your invention brings something new to the table. We will also discuss another really important step: the looks like acts like prototype. This is a crucial stage in the invention process. It allows you to build a proof of concept that demonstrates the invention's physical appearance and how it functions. This prototype allows you to test whether your idea works in practice and provides valuable insight for further refinement. Having a functional prototype will also make it much easier to attract interest from investors, manufacturers, or potential partners, as they'll be able to see a tangible version of your concept. With a solid prototype and proof of concept in hand, it's time to make an important decision. What path do you take? Do you license your invention, or do you start a business to manufacture and sell it? Each path has its own advantages and challenges, and the right choice depends on your goals, resources, and skills. We will dive into what the two paths entail. Whichever path you choose, protecting your invention is essential. At this stage, filing for a provisional patent gives you temporary protection while you continue developing your idea. Later, you can move to file a formal patent application for long-term protection. There are many resources available to support you through the invention process, from business advisors to patent attorneys and prototyping services to marketing and business development tools. We will explore how utilizing these resources can streamline your journey and help you avoid common pitfalls. As we jump into this episode today, please know that the path from idea to reality is an exciting one, filled with important decisions. By following the proper steps, starting with a patent and product search, building a working prototype, and choosing the right path between licensing and business ownership, you can give your invention the best chance of success. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Inventors Insight. Remember, innovation is about persistence, creativity, and making informed decisions. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in because we've got just a little bit of time and we want to make sure that we cover all of our bases. So if you'll bring up the slides, please, we're going to just kind of roll through looking at what the inventor's journey is all about. And I really want you to have the opportunity to see this from a standpoint of, even if you don't have a product right now in mind or you don't have an idea in mind, at least you now will have the information so that if something does come to mind, you'll know exactly what to do. Okay, so let's take a look at the slides. All right, there we go. Okay. So the first thing that, I talk about is before we even start looking at what we're going to do, you need a logbook. And many people, call it a logbook or an inventor's journal, an inventor's planner, but really it is a legal shield for you when you are thinking about creating something, because what it does is it gives you the ability to document your journey all along the way. You can record your invention's journey from the initial concept to final testing, including in the notes every iteration that you might make or any innovation on an existing, I should say, version of your product. So you want to make sure that, you are in a position where you are looking at how can I use this document, this, process? How can I document the process in a way that's going to protect me legally? Well, when you have the inventor's logbook, you actually can add dates. You can have a person witness the actual iteration that you're on and sign what they've seen. And it strengthens the legal standing of your logbook because the logbook does hold up in court. It is legal evidence. It's crucial legal evidence, for the USPTO and courts to prove that you were the one who originated the idea and the time frame that you were working on it. It starts like a timeline, and it gives the ability for people to understand that you were the one that, came up with this particular idea at the time that you did. Now, it may be close to someone else's idea, it may be something similar, but they'll be able to see your iterations and your subtle nuances and things that you had written down and that people signed off on, so that if you ever do have to defend yourself in court or defend your idea in court, you have something to back you up. Okay? So, what are the processes that you want to think about, when you are looking at bringing something to market? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to search and see if anybody else has thought of this idea before, and there's a couple of ways that you can do that. Well, you can look at it from the patent standpoint, or you can look at it from the product standpoint. So sometimes people will have the inclination to come up, with their ideas and just move them right into the market. They don't go through a patent process. They just put it right out there and begin selling it right away. But then there are other people who choose to protect their idea with a patent, and sometimes they are protecting it, just in their state where, the trademarks and things are protected, but the actual patent doesn't ever, get applied for. But then there are other people who decide that they're going to protect it in their country. Okay. And so they go through a process that allows them to, register their idea, with the United States Patent and Trademark Office here in America, or with the, body that is wherever they're located. And in doing that, it makes it so that they can now protect the idea from other people infringing on the idea. All right. And so let's talk about, how we might go about a patent search. Well, you could utilize the United States Patent and Trademark Office's databases and online tools to look for existing patents that are similar to your idea. And this could prevent accidental infringement, because sometimes you don't know that someone else has already come up with this idea or how far down the road they've gotten, and you decide that, man, this is a great product that should exist, and you don't know that it does exist if you're not doing the searches. And so doing the general patent search that's available to anyone that wants to go to the United States Patent and Trademark Office is what I would suggest. But you can also go to patents.google.com and look things up there as well. And in a previous broadcast, I think we actually did take a look at what the USPTO's website looked like. And I'm going to see if I can pull up, let me just see if I can pull it up, because I wanted to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to see what this looks like. And, and then I also want to make sure that, you can see what Google's search looks like as well. So let's see if we can do that. Let's see. The Google search is patents, patents.google.com. Okay. All right. So now we'll see if we can get you guys where you can see what I'm seeing, and see if it will resonate with you, because I really want you to be able to understand, what options you have for finding. Let's see if you all can see what I'm seeing right now. Okay, let's see if Javon, can you help us? I wanted to show my screen again. There we go. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so what you're looking at is the Patent and Trademark Office's website, and there are so many options for learning about, intellectual property and how things work. There's a section called Patent Basics, and when you click to go there, there's a whole level of education for you. There's one that talks about the essentials, basic questions about patents, foreign patents and treaties, inventor assistance, and functions of the agency, the USPTO offices. That's what it's talking about. But then there's another section that shows how to apply for patents. And then there's another section that talks about managing the patents that you already would have. Okay, and so there's lots of videos here. There's tons of opportunity for you to be able to go in and find, just about everything that you would want to know about a patent, how to file online, how patents are classified, and just even once you've applied, and then if the office comes back with something, how do you respond to what it is that they have come back with? All of that is really going to be right there in the system for you to pay attention to. And I want to show you here that if you want to check and look to see if someone already has a particular patent out there, there is a way for you to do a search. Okay, and so here's the patent process step by step, and it walks you through how you would apply. Now, we have a very good company that we work with, and if you are wanting to learn about how you can not have to do all of this yourself, and it's pretty affordable for most people who are in this, who are looking to do this. You could also crowdfund your idea and get the funds to utilize a service, that we are connected to. And we are very, very interested in making sure that people have that information, because we've worked with them on a couple of patents now for clients, and we're working towards a couple more. And so we want you to know that there are some good options. There's a DIY method, which we talked about in one of our previous broadcasts. And then there's the Patent Insiders, and we use them. And Tariq Naji is just an amazing, amazing, amazing person with a good company who does a really good job. And the people in this company, they were previously either patent examiners or patent agents, and now they are working together to help people who, need the assistance and do not want to do this on their own, but may not be able to, or may not want to go to an attorney, and so this is a really good option, because these agents and examiners, former examiners, are just very astute and do really well at what they do. Okay, but here's how you would do, just a general patent search. You would actually, you could do a patent public search. Okay, you could also look in the global dossier, and look at the dossier to see what you could possibly find. And it's business services that are aimed at really modernizing the system and helping people to understand, how this, single portal user interface, through that interface, how you can actually get a lot of services that you might need, while you're in this process. And then, of course, there's a public search facility, and then there's some research centers, and so there's all kinds of information here to help if you're going to do this yourself, kind of how you would do it, and, the basic information to know whether or not somebody's already come up with an idea. Now, there's another option here as well for you. And I'm going to share again my screen in a few minutes, because I want you to see this other option for people who are a little more handy and they feel like they could make their way around. I often will use Google Patents, because you are able to find a lot of information out. So when I just put in flight mode system, it brought up this flight mode system for personal electronic device. I'm going to make it a little bit larger so most of you guys can see. And so here, the abstract tells us that this is a personal communications device, including a processor, a plurality of subsystems connected to the processor for exchanging signals, therewith at least one of the subsystems being configurable between a flight mode and a non-flight mode. An input device connected to the processor for inputting a flight mode selection thereto, and a flight mode module operable on the processor for causing the processor to monitor for input of a predetermined flight mode selection. So, and it gives you some diagrams, so that, people could see kind of how it would work, and um, what it is that they're looking to do, and even the user interface, and the actual diagram of what these things would be, which they go into all the details, inside of their, in the application itself. So there are some claims, and everyone, when they are looking to get a patent, they have to talk about what their invention claims to do, and so in this case, they have 9 claims. And so they talk about how their system works and what it does, and how it uh, is going to, actually be utilized. And so based on that, people are able to get an idea. Mostly the people who are looking at this are going to be the people in the patent office, of course, to make sure that this is an idea that is different. It's unique. It's not something that's already on the market. And so they'll be demonstrating kind of how it works inside of the application process. And so there's going to be a background of the invention, and there'll be a summary in there, and then there's going to be some descriptions of the drawings so that people will understand what each one of those figure numbers are. And then there'll be a detailed description that will kind of explain, the concept behind this invention. So I like using, Google's patent search, because, not saying that the USPTO search is not comprehensive, but it can be a little difficult for people sometimes to really make their way through. But, in here, you could put things, let's do something like, let's see, note taking. Let's see what comes up. It'll bring up some of okay, a task flow identification based on user intent, or contextual note taking, a content management system, which is what I was really going for. Okay, and so now it shows me what else is out there in the realm of a system for note taking and collecting information. And it gives me images, and there's protocols involved, that explain, how it works. And, then of course, the one thing that you also have to understand is that when you're looking for the patent, you're also looking for other works that are very much similar to what it is that you are doing, because you can find a lot of times that there are things that are very close, but not quite exactly, what it is that you're doing. And so with that, you're able to see how yours might be different, and you could explain that in your patent application. And so those are things that you will learn, in some of the classes that we teach, with regards to doing a patent search and how it works. We have a couple courses that we work with, and in those courses, we actually do explain, what it is that we're doing. And we really do want people to understand it. So using the Google's search, which is patents.google.com, you're able to see that. And I guess that everybody wasn't really able to see my screen. So let me just show just a little bit of that so that you can at least see what it looks like. Okay. Javon, can you help me? Um, there we go. Okay, awesome. All right. So, and I'll go back because some of you guys did not see what I showed, but basically, I put in the description, note taking, and what it did is it gave me all of the options of people who have patents on something that has to do with note taking. Everything from interfaces to actual processes, right? A task flow identification or contextual note taking, which is the one that I pulled up a few minutes ago. So it gives you the ability, when you click on it, it'll take you to the section and you're able to see the names of the people who filed the patent application along with their claims. As I stated before, that, you make claims, and I know that for whatever reason, it's saying that the page is a little unresponsive, but it's okay. We'll take a look at, our slides, and we can kind of come back to this if we have an opportunity to. Okay, so let's come back, and then we're going to go back to um, our slides. So along with the patent search, we also have to do a product search because we need to look in the market to see if there's similar products already out there. We want to analyze competitors and identify gaps, because sometimes, you're bringing something to market and you don't realize that, you might have someone that's a front runner in the industry, but you're doing something a little different. And if you're able to analyze what they're doing, what their product looks like, how it acts, buy it, okay, experience it, so that you can refine your invention's unique selling points, and you have something that, is going to be chosen over the other thing that's out there. I crack up a lot when I talk about this because I think about how, in the early years of copy machines, everyone, would want to have a Xerox machine. And there was some specific reasons for that, because Xerox had something that their machines were doing that other machines were not doing, And so when you're looking at it from the standpoint of wanting to have the best on the market or the most innovative on the market, or something that, you're able to do that you would normally have to go out to a printing house to do, and you can do it right in your own office. That made so much more sense to most people, at that time. And I remember my mother was in advertising, and she had the express privilege of being a reprographic specialist. So she had to use four-color machines that had four-color ink, and so they did some very interesting things with pictures and magazines and flyers and things that they had to literally load the ink in and do a lot of work, to get what we now get in, one machine with some little bitty small cartridges, or even if we're using laser, the toner cartridges now are getting smaller and smaller and producing beautiful color copies of things. And it's just an amazing set of developments that have happened in such a short period of time. But here's the thing. At the time, Xerox, Pitney Bowes, oh gosh, I can't remember all the different names of these different companies that had Hewlett Packard, Packard Bell, they all had their own machines. And Xerox, being the leader in the industry, was able to capture enough of the market share that now when people, at one point in time, just about 10 years ago, when people would talk about getting a copy machine, instead of saying getting a copy machine, they would sometimes say, I need to get a Xerox machine. Not meaning that they were going to get the Xerox brand, but that the Xerox brand had so been on trend for so many years that a general copy machine had become the Xerox machine, right? It was known as the Xerox machine because of its the brand functionality, the brand, the way that people engaged with the brand, and all of the other things that were involved in it. And so I will say to you that when you're looking in the market, look for, even if it's in your industry, okay, you might find companies that have a specific thing that is now the name of everything that is that particular type of product. And I'll give you another one, 3M Post-it notes. When you go to the store, sometimes I'll go to the Dollar Tree and they have all types of sticky notes. They're not all Post-it notes, but we call them all Post-it notes. Why? Because the brand 3M made, when they came up with the Post-it note, so enraptured the market that people now, they relate to all sticky notes as Post-it notes. Okay. In the same way, the paperclip, you know now, we when we look at it, there are so many different brands of paper clips, but initially, these all are called paper clips, but not all of them got the patent. So when we're thinking about how you present yourself to the market, and looking at what else is out there, look for similar products that are doing well. Don't just look for people who are, just out there doing things so that you can see how you can take your part of the market share. But you want to be looking at, okay, who's doing it well? What is it about their product that makes people want to buy it? And why do I need to be paying attention to it as a potential competitor? What does my product do that's different? How can I grab some of their market share? All of those things should be in the forefront of your mind. And so I get really passionate when I talk about this. But yes, the patent search is important and the product search is important. And then, of course, when you combine the two searches, you now can confirm your own invention's uniqueness. You can look at, okay, this is what I am going to bring out to the market, and this is how I'm going to bring it to the market. And knowing that, these are the things that are already available in the market, and this is how I can capture the market share, because this is what I'll be doing that's different. This is what I'll be doing to, bring something that's unique that people will definitely want to buy. And it strengthens your patent application and your market position when you can talk intelligently inside of your application about what's there and what's not there. Okay. In other words, you're bringing the what's not there to the market. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how you bring your ideas to life. The look like, act like prototype. I love this picture because, which is really, a unique concept that you're seeing there in the making, and so you want to be thinking about, how can you get something that will give you at least the functionality, okay, of what your product is going to look like, even if it doesn't have all of the colors, the finishes, all of the stuff that makes it look nice. How can you get something that functionally will give you the ability to show that this thing will work, okay? And this is what it's going to look like. So, form meets function. And I love this. When you can create a prototype that showcases the appearance, to a degree, and the functionality, it helps you test the invention's real world feasibility. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles. It's not all the colors, not all the finishes, but at least the ability for us to see, how it's going to look and how functional it is in whatever it is that you're doing. I wish that I could talk about some of the products that are coming to market right now with some of our clients, but I'm under NDA and I can't do that. But the other thing is that, there are a few that I can talk about that have already made it through their process. They've already gotten their patents, or and they've gotten trademarks on a lot of the language in their, that they use with the product. And so I can talk about the process, and I won't necessarily talk about their product as much as I will the process. And I'll tell you that when they were in the process of creating the looks like, acts like prototype, some of the things that they use to get themselves in a position where they can prove that it would actually work was amazing. One of our clients, he went out and bought, at the hardware store, just some generic um, pieces that he was able to put together to create what his product would functionally do. And then he was able to go to Michael's supply store and art store to create just a generic finish to make it look, pretty good. And I will tell you that, what I have come to understand about people who are in this process, a lot of times they are so creative, and the things that they come up with to actually show people how well this is going to work is amazing, because they do it as if their life is on the line, and they understand that getting people to buy into the idea is going to be really, really important. And so having the ability to show that it's needed, that it's useful, that it works, okay, and that it's sellable, those things there, are huge. Everybody won't go for patent protection. Everybody is not someone who is wanting to actually get out there and, have the patent protected, because some people recognize the fact that they're just going to be a competitor in the market. They're just bringing something to market that's going to look better, work faster, and do, the same as the other thing in the market does, but being able to embellish or iterate on top of something that's already out there without infringing on the patent is, it's a delicate dance, but it can be done. And I know that there are people who are doing it. We are working with some of them right now, and so once you kind of get that acts like prototype, then you can refine the concept. You can get feedback. You can have a test, or what we call an alpha stage, and then a beta stage, to get people to use the product so that you can understand its flaws and the improvements that need to come to bear, and you just iterate on top of everything that you've done until your invention works flawlessly. That's the whole point. You want to make sure that you continue to iterate until you have, the product in its final form. And then, of course, you'll be able to attract interest when you've got a working prototype. It's invaluable for catching the eye of people who might be your investors, or people who might even want to license the product, from you. They might want the ability to just have you white label a version, for them. And they might pay you a significant amount of money to do that. We just experienced that with an app that we put in the marketplace. And someone saw the app and they were like, hey, I want a version of this. Could you do it for us? How much would you charge us to do it? And it's like, oh, okay. And it was just exciting because we learned a lot about what we had done. And we learned how to iterate on top of what we had done. And then we learned how to make it, work for someone else in a way that was really sophisticated, and gave them the opportunity to put it in the market where it didn't look just like ours. Okay. So that was pretty exciting, to actually take something that you've done and then put it out there where it's not in competition with you, because it's just a hair different enough that it works for the company that you did it for, and it really does make sense. And so when we're looking at these concepts of paths, we also want to choose the path of license or launch, because sometimes licensing is the way to go. And a lot of times it's the way to go. You've created the product, you've done all your work, you put all your time into it, and then someone comes along and says they want to give you $1 million just to use it. And it does not mean that you can't still use it. Oh, wow. Yeah, I sign me up, Alex, for that. Okay, because it works for me. But a lot of times, maybe you created it and you want to use it for a while first before you actually license it to anyone, or maybe you never want to license it to anyone. Maybe you always want to be able to have this as your business. And so you got to assess your goals and your ideas, your long-term vision. You want to know, what you need to focus on. And I mean, do you want to focus on inventing? Are you an R&D person that just wants to keep coming up with ideas and licensing them to companies, are selling even the IP to companies so that they can utilize it, and actually take it all the way down the track to market? Is that what you want to do? Or are you the person that really, really, really wants to, be the Kentucky Fried Chicken? You created this recipe and you don't want anybody else to end up with it. You want to have this stay in your family for years. And so that might be something that you're thinking about. And when you're thinking about it, you're going to have to think about it from the standpoint of looking at your resources. Analyze your time, your money, your expertise, because licensing requires less, but starting a business offers more control. And so you got to weigh out, the concept of license over launch. Which do you really want to do? Now, personally, I love coming up with ideas. I have, in the last 10 years, I've created 3 apps. And those 3 apps, one, I just sold the app to the client, and the IP went to the client. I'd never wanted royalties, or anything like that. He paid me a one-time fee. He got the app and he went on with his business. And I was very happy for him to do that because I created it specifically for their company. And that made me feel really good about that. One of the other apps that I created early on, which was kind of a predecessor of the app that I did for that particular company, never made it to market, but it gave me a lot of education. Okay. And so that education actually gave me what I needed to have so that I could do the next two. And the one that's coming next, that's going to be the one that I take to market. I'm not going to actually license anyone to use the IP, because, now I kind of have an idea of, I've kind of, the thought process is there. The bugs are kind of worked out, and getting it to market is going to be, something that'll be utilized through universities and other research institutions. And so for that reason, I know that I have a buyer already. And so based on that, I'm not interested in selling it, the idea. But what I'll tell you is that it took me, because I've been working on this probably now for almost 10 years. So I'm sharing that because I want you to be thinking about the fact that there are times when you have something and it may take a very long time for it to actually get to market. And I don't want people to be mistaken about that. Sometimes people are thinking, okay, I have this idea and I'm going to be able to get it to market in 2 years. It's possible for you to get it to market in 2 years. And if you have the cash and the resources and a good team, tech team, our mantra, if you have the tech, you have the team, and you have the time, okay, and then you can take your treasure, your finances, and roll it on down the road. And I mean, generally, I have seen people who are in a position where they have the tech, the time, the team, and they have the treasure, and the team meaning the talent. Okay. And I've seen people get to some things to market in a year or less because of the amount of momentum they were able to put behind it. They did a lot, though, in these opening stages before they actually started working, on building out the prototype. They had a lot of groundwork that was done before that. And in having that, they were able to, the time to launch might not have been what they would have liked, but the actual, time to market once they launched, getting the alpha stage right through and getting the feedback back so that they could do the beta stage. Beta lasted, maybe 2 or 3 months, and now they're at full, capacity in the launch of, their product and market. And I'm telling you, I've seen people become unicorns in that way, and just in case you don't know what a unicorn is, they made over $1 billion. Okay. $1 billion or more in their small startup, okay, creating a product. And there are many, many companies that have done it. So this is not something that is foreign. This is something that can be done, but I'm just saying that you have to evaluate. You got to analyze. You need to know whether you have the time, the money, and the expertise to make that happen. And then, of course, you got to weigh your risk and rewards. Okay, licensing, it provides steady royalties. I know people who license products, and they are very happy with the royalties that they get every month. You know, and based on how they structure things, those royalties could keep them floating for a long time for their next product and their next product and their next product. So, when you're thinking about, whether you are a person who's more involved in the thought process of being in the research and development, or are you the person who's really the business owner that comes up with the product that wants to get it to market? There's higher risks there, but potentially a lot more profit involved in that particular side of the inventor's landscape. And then, of course, when you make your choice, based on your assessment, you can always switch path later. I know of people who went into it and licensed their product for a period of time. They gave people a limited time frame to use the product without competition, okay, in the market, and then they came right along within the time frame in which, after that limited time was up, people did it with the Small Business Innovation Research grants. They get the grant from the government, and years ago, the way it used to work is that the government would ask for a period of time to utilize the product before the person actually, would come alongside with the product and put it into the market. There were certain products that came to market that way, though, because of the amount of money that you get for doing small business innovation research grants, that allowed them to get to market a lot faster than they ever would have. It allowed them to get, a lot of the kinks out and find out the feedback that they needed to have to really have a product that was, doing well in the market. And so make your choice. But when you make the choice, you want to make the decision based on information, okay? We want informed choices. We do not want you to be guessing about this, because this is not a place where you can afford to guess. I'm just saying, okay? So how do you secure your innovation? Well, if you decide to go the road of getting a patent, you're going to file for a quick temporary protection. Most of the time, that's how people go, and that's what we call the provisional patent. It establishes your priority date and it buys you time for you to continue to develop, right? And then, of course, there, would be the patent search, but this is the professional patent search, not the little one that you would do yourself, but this is where you can have a thorough search done to ensure that there's nothing out there and that it is truly a novel concept and it's non-obvious. Okay. And so this is very important, because your application will get turned down if those two things are not the case. And then, of course, having the formal patent application, or what we might call the utility patent. You work with the patent attorney or patent companies like the one that I mentioned, Patent Insiders. Shout out again to Tariq Naji and his team. Or if you decide to do a DIY method, you can work with Patent Hacks. That's another one of my friends who actually has a wonderful company. He's got a great process, and we work with them as well for people who choose to go the DIY method. And so when you're working with these types of companies, an attorney or either a patent company that helps you, that provides that service, you want to understand that they are most of the time very skilled at what they do. And so it's going to secure for you a long-term protection. When it's done the right way, it will most of the time give you an opportunity to get to market and leave some space between you and your newest or next competitor. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so when you're empowering your journey, here's some key resources, okay? You want to make sure that, whatever legal support you use, that if it's a patent attorney or if it's a patent service, um, that they specialize, okay, in the type of work that you are doing. They're going to guide you through the complex legal landscape, and you want that to be the case. You don't want to be out there floating around on your own. You want the help, okay? Then you also want the prototyping services. Find out rapid prototyping services that can, help to bring your ideas to life quickly and affordably. There are lots of programs out there through some of the universities and their research departments. We work with one called TMAC, Texas Manufacturing and Assistance Center. They are a NIST partner, and because of them, people can get hours of engineering support for free if they will work with a company like ours that is connected to that particular manufacturing assistance center. But there are so many other companies out there that do similar things in maybe your neck of the woods. Just so happens that our location is in Texas, and so we're working with TMAC to help people get their products to market. Now, you might have to go to, another type of company, but whatever you do, find these rapid prototyping services, that will help you. There are some companies that we can suggest, and we won't necessarily do it in the video, but if you are interested, please set an appointment with us. We will give you a free consultation and help you to find the right support if you're not located near where our contacts are that can help you with the engineering. There are some other contacts that we have in California, in New York, in Florida, and so we want you in Nevada. Okay, we have some in Nevada and Arizona. So we want you to know that there's support out there for you. We just have to find the closest to your location and see if we can help you find that help affordably. And then, of course, getting in with some inventor networks is also really good. Joining local inventor associations, online communities are good. Sharing the experiences and gaining these insights, from your peers is going to be really important because it helps you to make sure that you're walking this road in a way that is going to help you get your product to market for sure. Okay. And then, of course, you want the educational tools. You can always access the USPTO's resources. They have, like I said, a whole school of education there. The patent search database, like the one that I showed you on Google. And then there's some online courses that you can take through some of the universities. Some of these are free to enhance your invention skills. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, you can always set up an appointment with us. ScheduleMe.red, and that's www.scheduleme.red, will get you to us so that you can set an appointment and learn more about your options. Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour, but let's kind of take a look at the inventor's mindset. What do you want to have on your mind, okay, as you are thinking about bringing a product to market? Well, you want to be able to embrace persistence. It's really important that you understand that the journey is a journey of ups and downs, and you want to stay committed to your vision through the challenges that you might have, because it's not a quick thing, to bring a product to market, and especially if you don't have a big budget. Sometimes it takes a while, and I know people who have been sitting on ideas for years, but you can never get there if you don't start. And so I would say, get started and embrace persistence, okay? And then you want to cultivate creativity because sometimes things change. And while you're mulling over your idea, and you're coming up with something, if you're looking for problems to solve in everyday life, a lot of the times your creative juices will start to flow. And if you solve the problem for yourself, 10 times out of 10, you are going to be solving it for someone else that you may not know. And so with that in mind, think about how that could, generate an income stream for you and feed and shelter your family. Okay. All right. And then make informed decisions. You got to be able to do some research, base your choices on, information that is actually credible. Okay. Get expert advice. It really does increase your chances of success. I know people who have based their ideas on their feelings or on what they like or on what their peers like. and found that they wasted a lot of money. And I don't believe that this has to be everyone's experience, but I'll tell you that it is a lot of the experience that I have seen, because people don't want to take the time to do the research, to get a coach, to work with an advisor, to go down the street of using software. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do to get expert advice. And I tell you that if you will set the appointment, schedule me that red, we can get you started. Okay. And then don't stop learning. Always be in a position where you will, can evolve. The world of invention is evolving. And so if you can evolve, while it's evolving, it does help you to actually get to a point where you can bring your product to market. Stay curious and open to new ideas. It's really important that you do so, because when you do so, it does give you the ability to learn more about what you're doing and position yourself so that you can be an inventor that gets their ideas into reality. Well, this has been Dr. Patience Jackson Rose, and I am so excited that we've been here with you today. And we look forward to helping you in your ideas and concepts, bringing those to market. And we'll see you again next time.